Hello everyone, I'm Brian and welcome back. Let's go and get started. So this is going to be the last bit, hopefully.
Good afternoon. Society is celebrating legalization of homosexuality when it can't even accept intercaste marriages.
What?
Society is celebrating legalization of homosexuality when it can't even accept intercaste marriages.
See, the thing is, I got it.
Sadhguru,
Yes.
being a science student, I have a small question.
No, let's finish this.
No, just something.
I thought one question, I thought.
Yeah, it's small.
Can you please answer
Yeah.
one by one so then there's no confusion?
To maintain in this evolution, to maintain the genetic variability, the sex or marriage should happen between different groups of people and different communities. But due to this intercaste thing which is in our society, the marriages are happening between the same community, that is the same caste people, which leads to the further species makes this.
We got the question. Please.
Yeah, got it.
We got
Please
the
answer.
question.
And sir, you have done rally for Save for
No,
Rivers.
leave that, please.
Please do remove this intercaste technique in this society.
Okay.
Okay. Again, the reason why I answered before Sadhguru is because everyone's opinion is biased. My own opinion is biased. Sorry, I just read this comment saying that I should answer after Sadhguru has said something. But I want to answer before Sadhguru's because once he says something, it'll corrupt my thoughts, meaning that I will now have his knowledge and his knowledge basically on top of my own, which I'm not saying is bad, corrupt. It's just that it's no longer my own thoughts necessarily. So I want to see if my thoughts are good as Sadhguru's, basically, if I match his. But this is something that society has to do, something people that have to push, and that's going to be a difficult thing. You can't, obviously, so long as by the law, it's legal and there's no illegalities to it in terms of the intercaste system, then people will have to try to push for that. It doesn't have to be in your face about it. It's kind of like just children playing with other children, and they don't see caste systems. They see it just a friend, and then it's going to take generation after generation to slowly wane that out because it's been so integrated into society. That's something that will just happen slowly, and if we force it, it can push back in a sense.
So, this is related to Joe's question in a way, in the sense, see, we must understand this. Unfortunately, most human beings are in this condition. If they find somebody who are little weaker than them, they will see how to extract something out of them, how to dominate them, how to do these things. This is coming to you from your childhood, from your school, that you want to be number one, parents are telling you this, everybody is telling you this. So always want to be on top of somebody. So with this, if a goldsmith thinks a blacksmith is inferior to him, unfortunately, though a blacksmith's work is more useful than a goldsmith's work for making of a society. So like this, simple professional differences, we have made it into horrible discriminations in this country because this is an ancient culture, lived in the same place for thousands of years. People learned how to organize their exploitation against each other. They managed to organize this. So in this context, we must understand, unless human beings evolve to a place that you do not exploit other people's weaknesses, discrimination will not go. You can talk as much as you want, it will not go. For thousands of years, it's not gone. One thing about the caste system is, it was basically a professional division which turned out to be a very discriminatory process over a period of time. Now largely this professional division is going away because people come, now we don't know what caste you are, it doesn't matter, you're becoming a lawyer, all right? You're not a wakil kind of caste system. You something and you're becoming a lawyer. Somebody can become an engineer. So, this transference of knowledge through family systems are gone, so in that context, caste has become irrelevant. Right now, the caste still exists much more strongly in the rural community than in the urban community because that is the only social security most people have. Something goes wrong with my life, I can only go back to my caste people. If I go to somebody, they're not going to help me. So this is unfortunately the social security system that they have, which is exploited again in so many different ways. Unless we develop a universal social security system in this country that every human being has a net to fall back on, caste will not go. Once the universal social security comes, you will see caste will naturally die a death. You don't even have to fight it, it'll just go away. Once this social security is there for the human being, the reason why it's gone in educated and well-to-do people is because they have their own security. They don't have to go back to their caste. But the poorer people in rural India, for them the only security is their caste, their clan. You can only go back to your mama or your somebody else or whatever else, you can't go to a strange person and ask for help. So we have to make the society where every human being feels secure in the country. Only then you can remove this, otherwise you cannot remove. People are thinking this is just based on discrimination. No, discrimination is coming because wherever somebody is weaker, somebody is exploiting them. This is not caste, this is not gender, wherever, whoever they can get, they will exploit, all right? Why women and children take the beating is because they're little physically weaker. That's the only reason. Not because they're against the women or against the children, simply because we have still not evolved out of this, that we will treat the strong and the weak the same way. This has not come into us. This will not come because you fight something. This has to come by evolving the society, by evolving individual human beings, otherwise it'll not happen.
Let me ask, I don't know, just from some odd reason I had this weird thought. Is there anything in any kind of application that shows this, oh, what is your caste system? You have to fill that out. Like when you apply for credit cards for your job or for a car or for a house or for anything that has an application, you fill out your name and your address and all that. I'm just wondering, is there anything over there or that has as what's your caste, and do you even know your caste?
Thank you for the answer, sir. So the team has been the team has been literally signaling to us that we should have finished this about 10-15 minutes ago. That being said, there seem to be a lot of interested people who've been raising their hands up. If you're fine with some more questions, we can proceed. Otherwise, we can. It's completely your choice.
If you're okay, I'm okay, sir. You're the boss today.
No, so sir, it's your decision.
No,
sir,
you're the moderator.
They have been signaling.
If you say answer the questions, I will. If you say please leave, I will leave.
What we can do is we can take 3 final questions and then…
So
There you
from
go.
all 3 sides.
I mean, I get, like, that dude doesn't take charge very well. He's very, just let everyone else control the situation. He needs to take control. He's the moderator. But at the same time, obviously, I get right here with Sadhguru. It's like, hey, I don't want to make you uncomfortable. I don't know if you have to go anywhere. Are you okay with staying for a little bit longer?
Can the mic be passed on to the back rows there?
Hello?
No, the back rows there.
I will pass
the
it
left.
on once I'm done with my question.
Where's the mic?
Please speak now. Once you have the microphone, please ask
Hi.
the question.
Hello Sadhguru, I'm Shrikari and I'm running an NGO for underprivileged children right now, and I've sort of decided for myself that this is what I want to dedicate my life for, which is serving the society. So I have 3 questions for you. The first is, being a social entrepreneur yourself, how do you think I should prepare myself for the rest of my life to be dedicated to this cause? And second thing, you've mentioned a lot of issues, for example, malnutrition, and there is intolerance, and there is so many issues. So which issue do you think that our generation should target in order to get the best effect out of it? And thirdly, do you have any sort of program that can help our students who are doing this kind of an effort, because we don't have the kind of power or exposure to reach the kind of levels that you can?
Man, she planned that question was fantastic. First one, dedication to her job. I think it's going to be fantastic. I certainly hope that I don't know, I mean, being devoted, I suppose, again, if you follow the path of devotion and you follow that path and it does in fact bring you joy and you're not looking for someone else or to start your own family, then that's fantastic. You've already set yourself in life for really an amazing goal. Second question was which should they target first? I mean, that's very difficult. I don't think there's any one single solitary path that you must follow that everyone can follow, because everyone's situation is different. It's just, I think it's a matter of teaching the next generation about issues, or maybe even not about the issues, because if they're not told about these issues, they would not know it. And if they grew indiscriminatory of anyone, they will not have these discriminatory thoughts or anything like that, because they just see someone else as their friend. It's kind of, again, where I grew up, there was a U.S. military base, and I saw a whole bunch of people there. I didn't know any better that they were U.S. people. Let's just put it that way. I just thought they were just anyone else. I didn't know that they had white skin, black skin, or whatever other skin colors. I just saw them as friends, classmates, and didn't think anything else of it. And that may be an approach to it. And then we should teach them what is right and what is wrong to the best of our abilities for the next generation, obviously. And do what you can with your current situation to be a teacher. But I think it's just something that has to be weeded out generation after generation. Last part, that's Sadhguru, 100%.
If any of you have… Please sit down. If any of you have, as she said, if you have similar intentions, that you want to take up a social cause and make it happen, well, you asked me, which should we take it up? In my focus right now is nourishment, education, ecology. These are the three things which are crucial for this nation. If these three things happen, all the other problems will get sorted out by themselves. If you start attacking small problems which are in the country, which are plenty, not one or two, they're in hundreds, small issues which we are picking up, believe me, you will not solve the problem. You will only have the satisfaction of fighting for something. Don't fight for something, we have enough fight going on, we've seen enough fights forever. It's important, this country must be well nourished, fundamental education must happen, and ecologically we must take some quick steps, because this is an area which we cannot reverse very easily. It may take decades or even centuries sometimes to turn it back, depending upon the kind of damage we cause. These three dimensions if we take care, all the other issues that you're mentioning, many other issues, small issues, I am not saying they're not important, but if you take up those causes right now, you will not have a good foundation, but you will build a superstructure which will anyway collapse after some time. So these are three fundamentals. If anybody who has such intentions, if you want, you come to us free of cost, we will train you for 1 or 2 or 3 months. Right now, we are… somebody mentioned Rally for Rivers, we are training hundreds of youth for over 6 months about the ecological aspect, how they can take it up in their own area, full depth and dimension of the problem and how they should handle it, how they should deal with the governments, how they should deal with the people and the situation on the ground, how to manage this, like this. So for these three aspects, if you're taking up nourishment or education or ecology, we can train you. Above all, if you're going into social activity, I've seen so many people, particularly Indians who are settled in United States, after working there for 10–15 years, when they've made a certain amount of money, quite a few of them get this urge, they want to come back to their village and do something. I'm telling you, almost 90% of them return absolutely frustrated, not able to doing anything, and lost their money, lost their job, this kind of situation. Simply because India is a complex thing to deal with. One has to be in a certain state of… first thing is to understand, another thing is how you are. If you are the kind who are going to get freaked and disturbed by everything happening negatively around you, then you should not get into it, because they're going to freak the hell out of you on a daily basis. It doesn't matter how much work you do, you will only face abuse and accusations, and people will file cases against you, they will protest against you, all kinds of things. So it's very important you make yourself in such a way, what you want in your life, what you want to create, in which way you want to make a difference, that is more important than everything else. Every day volunteers who are working for us come up to me and say, Sadhguru, I can't work with this person is horrible, I can't do this. So I tell them, see, in this world, this is how people are. Like this, like that, like that, like that, this is how they are. If you think what you're doing is of such importance, you work with these people. If you want to work with ideal people, go to heaven and today. Yes.
So
You will have to work with all sorts of people, otherwise you can't do this.
so the individual in the red T-shirt is being asked since.
Sorry, I shook my head a little bit early just because it's such an amazing thing that Sadhguru is doing there with all those programs, teaching all those students in how to help their village or city or whatever it may be out. That's genuinely amazing, and the sheer fact that it's great to see people take up a lot of, again, these social, how do I say this, the social aspect that she's taken up, it's not government based. She's not going to government and saying, government, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this, government needs to do this. No, she's saying, I'm going to do this. This is a big difference between the left and the right in a lot of sense. I'm not saying like all the left, all the right, but there's tendency for the left to keep constantly pushing for social programs from the government, whereas the right tends to take community work. There's a balance between both, but when the further left or right you go, it gets a bit extreme. I don't know what right would be though, but the further left would demand a whole bunch of demand a lot from the government, a lot of social funding, social programs. And again, the further for the left you go, the crazier those social programs become. For example, I don't know if you remember reading AOC's proposal for one where, oh, you can get paid even if you don't want to even if you don't want to work. It's like, no, she's saying that's a joke. Honestly, I doubt that. That has a tendency from the far left to where people work for free. You know, money's no use. Everyone will work for free just because they love working. No, I mean, a lot of people like to work, not work for other people though. So they'll work for themselves, absolutely. But they won't work for other people. They won't create things for other people necessarily unless it's their friends or someone they know or care about. But the far right, I'm not exactly sure what's over there in terms of social. I guess maybe you get more selfish where you just protect yourself. To the far right is just protecting yourself. Then a little bit less far right, you protect you and your family. And then less far right, your family, and maybe your extended family. And so basically, again, the left tends to go with more social programs from the governments. The right tends to be a bit more community-based social programs, where it's not the government, it's the community that runs it.
Sometime, then we will move to the right. That will be the last one. The one over here will be the last one.
So, Sadhguru, we have two questions.
One at a time, I'm a simple guy.
So first I'll ask and then one more. So firstly, you said that from your years of practice and looking at people, you can just look at somebody and tell their past, present and future. Now we'd really appreciate it if you could look at me and tell my past and present. Anything.
No, I am not an astrologer for you.
No, astrologer would be somebody who sees the future. I'm asking you only to see my past and present.
Astrologers also talk about the past to get the market oriented, all right? I am not in that profession.
So when you say you're a mystic, what exactly do you mean? When your first answer to his question about first impressions was that you can see the past and the present, while all of us mortals over here won't be able to do the same thing. So then fulfill his claim that you can tell us about his past or his present. But notwithstanding that, my question is different. My question is that you've spoken about how you believe that like we must live in harmony with nature, etc. You told us that we've come here and we've taken over the land which belonged to snakes.
No, that is true everywhere. Huh?
Correct. Taking you to the question that...
I'm so sorry to stop you, so in case you're not comfortable answering that.
No, I'm okay with any question. All right.
So,
then
a
you
lot
can
of the
continue.
infrastructure
Let me
of
just make the question
Yeah, yeah.
smaller and
30 seconds.
more.
A lot of the infrastructure
30
of
seconds is a long question, 5 seconds.
20 seconds, 20 seconds. A lot of the infrastructure of the Isha Foundation has been built on elephant corridors,
Really?
something which both the National Green Tribunal as well as the High Courts have admitted to without the requisite permissions. We tell you this goes against rule of law, which you stand for. This goes against living in harmony with species, both of which you've spoken right here at NALSAR. So if you could clarify regarding that.
Okay. There is a fan following for that also. So right now, all of you, those of you who are clapping and screaming, listen to me. You also, ma'am. What's your name? Huh? Sanchita. Ankita. Okay. Now we'll do one thing. I don't know what authority you have to say it's an elephant corridor. Listen, let me finish. The State Forest Department clearly has submitted to the High Court that this is not an elephant corridor. The Wildlife Trust of India has given a clear directive to the NGT that it's not an elephant corridor. The World Wildlife Fund says it's not an elephant corridor. But you say it's an elephant corridor. I don't know what's your relationship with the elephants. Okay? If you do not understand, right now we put up the map published by the Wildlife Trust of India as to which are the elephant corridors and which are not. And elephant corridor is not anywhere in 100 kilometers of where we are. You can go look up the map today. Now, you can open up your cell phone and look it up now. So, being in a legal profession you're going to get into, first you must get your facts right, all right? And, well, I know where this is coming from. There are some activists who are going on publishing this endlessly. You're reading that social media is trash and you're coming to conclusions. Anyway, I want you to know, today if I want, by tomorrow evening, I can file 100 cases against you, all kinds of things. It's for you to come out of it in the next 20 years. This is the country you're living in, I want you to know. So, it doesn't matter, I will tell you further. For continuously, I've been accused of raising a rainforest. Which is that rainforest? Where was it? Please show it to me. There is no such forest, so they've kept quiet now because I asked these questions. Then they said, we have occupied forest lands. Well, forest department has senior forest officers from not only Tamil Nadu, from the center, came and surveyed the place and said not a little bit of encroachment has happened. But people keep writing the same thing. Now I'm asking you, if you're really interested in justice, you and your friends who are clapping for everything, I will ask you to come. 10, 15 of you come with cameras. I will give you all the maps, the survey maps and revenue maps and forest maps. You walk across, we'll give you total freedom to do the survey as you want, all right? If 1 inch, not 1 acre, 1 inch of forest land is taken, I have said this yesterday also, day before yesterday also, because I am surprised the same question is being asked, I will leave the country. You will not see me again. Is this good enough? Will you do it?
So we'll take one final question.
No, let me finish this, huh? This is a charge, this is not a question. Now, if 1 little bit is taken, forest land, you will never see me again, you will never hear me again, okay? I'll be gone.
Okay.
Well, wait. I will tell you the kind of activism that is happening there. Why? I'm sure many of you may be associated with this, I'm saying this on camera, it can be published, I don't care what, because I've reached a point where death threats are every day from these kind of people. Why all this is happening is, we are at the tri-junction of the 3 state borders. There are certain people who want to be active in the forest in that area, and we've become a big problem for them. They want us ousted from there. That's not going to happen in their lifetime, because it's not just for our interest. I want to make sure such activity doesn't happen in the forest. And we have fought for this, so we're getting all this flack. And for every little thing, without knowing facts, being future lawyers, you must have little more facts on your hand. This is not the way to go to a court, you know. This is not the way to go to a court. You must go with facts. If you are not looking at being a lawyer as just as a business, but as a way of serving people and bringing justice to people, this is not the way to go. I will tell you further. You've seen the image of Adiyogi? Yes. A whole campaign has been made. They showed images of some forest and how the entire thing was raised to put up Adiyogi statue. So we put out the Google Maps. Before we bought the land, how it was, how it is today. Today this technology, you can't go on lying forever. Once we put up the Google Maps, they became quiet. So Google Maps are of 2006. They said before that there was a forest. So I said, do one thing, from 1960s, okay, or before I was born, 1940s, you take the revenue map. I will give you all the survey numbers in which we are. See what were the crops which were grown, for what taxes people have paid. Revenue records are there, Google Maps are there, you can't be just lying to yourself endlessly. And I will tell you how much prejudice is there. A certain group of people with government officials and a collector comes to visit the Adiyogi statue. One official, not a low-level official, a mid-level official, says they have built a factory shed without permission. So collector asks, where is the factory shed? He points at Adiyogi and says, this is the factory shed. He's surprised, is this a factory shed you are saying, this is a monument? They've taken permission for a monument. No, in my opinion, this is a factory shed. Inside there are metal members and outside there is a metal skin, so it is a factory shed. Tell me, who will call the image of… there is an image of Adiyogi, can you put it up? Who will call this a factory shed? Please look it up. Please look it up on the website. You look at the Adiyogi, it is on the Guinness record for the largest face on the planet. And now somebody describes this as a factory shed and wants to file a case on us. I want you to know who is this person who calls Adiyogi a factory shed and what is the intention and what is the purpose of such a comment. Who they are and what they are motivated by, you must look at it. Yes or no? Please look at it. And I'm telling you, the reason all this has started is because of the tri-junction. One mistake we have done, if it's a mistake, I don't think it's a mistake personally, but legally it's a mistake, is they did not give us a particular officer who was sitting. It's all become religious in this country. A particular officer who is sitting there does not give us a no objection certificate, even though we fulfill all the legalities for 4.5 years. Nothing happening. I said, go ahead and build. We had everything else, only one department we don't have, no objection. First, why the hell do you have an objection when I'm investing and building infrastructure for this country and for the people? What's your problem? But they have a problem. No objection certificate takes 4.5 years and they don't give an explanation why they have an objection. There is not a single reply. So I said, go ahead and build. So we built 2 buildings without that one no objection. Using that, they filed multiple cases on us. But now, the government has given us permission for that also. It's been regularized, they asked us to pay a penalty, we paid, and we regularized all that. There's not one illegal structure there, and we are not on the elephant corridor. Please get your facts checked properly.
Oh, not a good start to be a lawyer, I will say. Oh. Now I get what you say. It's like, I'm not saying that. But because she's the messenger of that message, she believes in that message. Otherwise, she would not have said that. I get it. She's just not the one that's saying that, but she's read that somewhere saying, "Oh, excuse me, Sadhguru, people are saying that you're on this elephant." And Sadhguru misheard a little bit, but overall, she believes in that message as well. And, whew, man, whew. So far, you have, I do believe, a sexist person on one side. Maybe, I'm not sure. Then you have someone who, it's fair enough. It's maybe a fair question. Maybe she didn't study up on it or whatever. But at least, hopefully, this is an insight to everyone in there to fact check your questions. Which is, again, they're still young and we all make mistakes. So, it's cool. And this is hopefully a very good lesson. The one thing I will say, if you learn from your lessons, that is fantastic. You will be successful in life. But if you keep making the same mistakes, man, you are in trouble, and good luck.
Okay. One last question. The man in the blue
And
shirt
now that
right
you
in the
raised
front.
this question, I must finish this. Now that you raised this question and you charge me with this, if what you have said is not true, please go on the social media and say, I've been talking rubbish without knowing what are the facts.
I gotta see this. Does she do that?
Yeah, it's not working. Give us
Mike.
him the…
Is it? You say that leadership and especially entrepreneurship and enterprises is very much needed for the growth of this nation. So how important is it for the youth or a young individual to be a leader and having a bigger vision which is beyond just their own survival but which includes larger well-being and growth of humanity? And if someone takes such responsibility, how a person having such a vision make himself capable and competent and clear? Thank you.
See, in the development of a nation, today we have reached a point in the world where it is not the military prowess of a country, nor is it the political circus that goes on in a country, nor it is the activism and stuff that goes on in the country which decides the well-being of a nation. It is the success of the businesses which will determine the well-being of a nation, because we have decided to go market economy. Is that the best way to do things? I personally may not think so, but that's not the point. We've decided to go that way, we have to make it a success. That's all there is left to us. Every day we can't be rethinking which system to take on. We have to make it a success because we've chosen to be there. Now, for me to become a business leader or a social leader, what is it that I have to equip myself with? Well, that now famous inner engineering, that's the first thing you must do, because if you are not equipped to handle various uncertainties in life, if outside situations are going to determine what happens within you, then you should not enter into that kind of ventures because life will freak the hell out of you. You must choose a safe job. If you are the kind who is going to be impacted by what's happening around you, then it is going to be very difficult for you to handle those kind of situations. So first thing in everybody's life, no matter what you're planning to do, in everybody's life, first thing is to enhance this life, then to act in the world. If you act in the world before you enhance this life, you will see, if you succeed, you will suffer, if you fail, you will suffer. Very important that you bring yourself to a state that your peacefulness, your joyfulness, the pleasantness of who you are is not determined by somebody else or something else. If you establish this one thing, you are equipped for life. Thank you very much.
We're done. I'm sorry, we're done, we've exceeded by…
Uh,
about 1 hour 45
It's
minutes.
just the continuation of this question. It's not complete, the answer. Like, if you have done the… You said first step is inner engineering. If you have done it, I'm practicing since 3 years. So what is the second step? What is the exposure? What is the right kind of education and environment that is needed? First step I have heard many times. What is the second step? I want to equip myself with that.
That's a very personal question. We will deal with this personally.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So, yeah, hi. Thank you, Sadhguru, for answering all questions. I think we exceeded the limit by around 1 hour, by at least 1.5 hours. So, thank you for, patiently answering all questions from, from all different people. And
Quite explosively, not patiently. Quite explosively, not
for patiently listening and explosively answering the questions. I hope the people in the audience, experience an insightful lecture or an insightful conversation. And for individuals who could not otherwise ask, I think you have a social media page.
Yes.
So you could send it there, but due to limitations of time, we can't ask any more questions. What we did try was that individuals from different groups and backgrounds could ask questions. So that was our purpose. So I think we're done. So, thank you a lot, Sadhguru.
Thank you very much.
Different groups and backgrounds? Wait.
What is the right kind of education?
experience an insightful lecture or an insightful conversation. And for individuals who could not otherwise ask, I think you have a social media page.
Yes.
So I mean, you could send it there, but due to limitations of time, we can't ask any more questions. What we did try was that individuals from different groups and backgrounds could ask questions. So that was our purpose.
Okay, what's the audience split up into different groups and backgrounds? It almost honestly seems that way, because he was like, oh, we have to ask over here now. Now, I don't know whether that means there's a different group there, or it's just, you know, we're asking on the left side, now we're asking on the right side, you know, just to get the different sides. Not necessarily that they're separated in groups. Oh, man, well, don't get me wrong. I think people should ask hard-hitting questions for sure. And it's amazing for Sadhguru to answer hard-hitting questions. That is definitely needed. That's what you call debate, and that's something that I imagine that went on in the past in India during the times of when they do debates among the different Hindu beliefs. And this is exactly what it is. I mean, you may completely disagree with the person, but I will say this. Again, I'm just going to be talking now, so if you want to end here, that's fine. And I'll see you in the next vid. But so the first person, Joe, I believe, while he was quite passionate in this sexist thing, I will only have respect for his opinion if he does that for everything, not just females, but for males as well. If he says, oh, females have to have their own personal space, but males cannot, I'm sorry, you're just BS at that point. You have no valid points. Now, if it says, oh yeah, females, if they have females only, they're sexist, then it needs to be males and females. And it's like, oh, the males is, no, males and females. I'm like, okay, at least you're consistent, and you're not picking one side over another. You have equal points of view among everyone. It's kind of like saying, oh, I hate you. It's like, oh, you hate me? Why? It's like, well, I hate everyone. It's like, well, okay, you know, if you hate everyone equally, then it's equal. We're all equal here at that point. I'll only have respect for him for that if he meant it that way. However, it doesn't seem like it. But then again, I don't know. I only saw the guy for a couple of minutes. Not enough to really know the person. Although I will say, the question with the young lady there, the guy, yeah, I was a little bit like the Sadhguru can see their past and future. I can maybe get it, not like right away, but like if you get to know someone, you can kind of tell how they were in the past and maybe in the future, maybe. But anyways, with the lady solo, amazing. I don't know what she's doing. Hopefully she's being successful in what she wants to do in terms of helping out the poor kids. It would be nice to see a follow-up. Hopefully she's doing all right. The other young lady with the guy about the elephant's land and all that, I mean, terrible question, should have fact checked it, but at the same time is a magnificent lesson for everyone there, that if that's just a lawyer school, that you should definitely fact check your stuff. But again, you know, maybe she just so happens to look that up. But again, regardless, someone would have to make the mistake so everyone else can learn. Like again, learning the hard way. I mean, everyone else learned the easy way, she learned the hard way. Everyone is like, oh, yeah, let me cross that question out, because I didn't quite fact check that one out. I don't want to look like an idiot. Ooh, well, I guess I got no more questions now. I guess I'll just put my hand down, because I didn't fact check anything. Nah. But yeah, so it was hopefully a lesson well learned for everyone there, that, you know, fact check yourself, especially if you're going to be a lawyer. Now, if you're a normal citizen, you know, you're not fact checking every single little thing, maybe somewhat acceptable, but no, please try to fact check a lot of stuff. Do I try? Kinda, maybe. But I'm not, I don't claim to have fact anything. Alright, well, that's the end of this video. This one didn't run too long, but it wasn't very long in the first place. I do absolutely like these things, because it more talks a little bit more personal in terms of opinions from Sadhguru, as opposed to just learning. It's a little bit different. It's more targeting questions that are quite fascinating and interesting, as opposed to learning about certain things. I like to have a balance of both. Well, anyways, I'm gonna pause right here, guys. If you like my content, please consider subscribing, thumbs up, thumbs down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next vid.